Good day, everyone. Welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, today is the 22nd, Wednesday of January. The World Health Organization is meeting on the new coronavirus. And, I listened to a whole report by British experts today. And there's a questions and answers, and they're giving them questions. And they kept saying, well, we just don't know. We just don't know to a lot of the questions. They just didn't have answers because this is a new virus. But one thing I can tell you guys is this is a coronavirus. And there's a couple types of viruses that cause a common cold. And this is one of them. This is one of the viruses that causes a common cold. Except this is taking it a level further because what it's doing is it's causing pneumonia along with the cold, basically. So, and in some cases, the people's pneumonia is getting to the point where they need hospitalization, and in some cases, they even die with it. And so, the thing about it is their organs shut down and everything, and they go into what's called toxic shock, and also their lungs fill up with fluid and so on. It can be a very nasty disease, but it's basically underlying the nastiness of it. It's basically the common cold. It's just that it moves to the next step. And because of this particular virus, it's like a version of the common cold that's deadly. And so, and a lot of these people that catch it and stuff, they just think they have a cold. And what do people do when they have the cold? They go home. And they might cook up some chicken soup for themselves or whatever, and they got a little fever and so on. That's how this manifests itself in the initial stages. I believe personally, and this is my personal opinion only, that a lot of these people only go to the hospital, in China, when they start to get the bad lung infection from this. And so the numbers that we're seeing reported from China are probably that maybe perhaps tip of the iceberg of people that are manifesting symptoms where they leave home and go to the hospital and then they get tested or whatever and they say, hey, you got this novel new coronavirus. And these people might actually be shocked, that that's what they have. And then they might get scared, really scared, of course, anyway, scared for their life. Anyway, once they find out what they got. Anyway, this very well could be what we're seeing. These numbers that are coming out of China could be the tip of the iceberg of how many others have it, but it's just they think they have a cold. And like the cold, this spreads like the cold. This isn't airborne. This is a disease. The cold is airborne. And, you cough or sneeze, somebody sitting next to you, or if you touch something, or it spreads rather readily. And so I'm thinking to myself that the number I'd really like to know is how many people have it in China that don't know that they have it and haven't reported in because they're just got a few sniffles, and they maybe have a low-grade fever, and they think they have the cold, the common cold, just a cold. And how many numbers of those people out there, what I would really like to know, relates to how many have got the final stages of the disease where they get ultimately sick, and have to go to the hospital with their lungs full of fluid. Those numbers would be very important to know, because if the number of people out there who have it but don't know they have it is a really great number, like maybe it's 10,000, I don't know, 50,000, 100, you don't know. The bigger that number is, though, it would represent a smaller fraction of people that have to go in for medical care. If you understand what I mean. Now, if only 1,000 people out there, or maybe only 500 people out there actually have it, and they're manifesting symptoms so they have to go into hospital care, then the disease would have a much higher mortality rate, if you're following me on this. But anyway, Besides that, the reported numbers now are, they might have just exceeded 500. I know they're getting up close to 500 people have this disease at this point in time. The numbers are getting up close to 500, and so far I think it's 17 have died. So let's get in there and let's open up the charts right here and take a look at the headlines today and see what's really going on with this virus. The Business Insider says, here are the symptoms of the deadly Wuhan coronavirus and when you should be worried. Well, they're probably going to list the symptoms of a head cold because and maybe a lung congestion and so on. Because that's how it starts out. You feel like you got a head cold. Key things to watch out for in the coronavirus outbreak. Stocks shake off the coronavirus worries. The dollar gains. Coronavirus. China warns against travel to virus hit Wuhan. You know, there's 10 million people in that city. Wuhan. You know, and I'd never even heard of it before. I've heard of Shanghai, I've heard of Beijing, I've heard of Hong Kong, and it's spreading there too. United States confirms the first case of China coronavirus. I guess it's up around Washington or someplace. Life inside ground zero of Wuhan coronavirus outbreak. Now here's one of the things I gotta say. The president came on, he said, we got this under control, we got this handled. They've had a case in the United States. I guess he's trying to calm the people down. But you gotta understand something. That guy flew across the ocean. He didn't know he had it. He was sitting in his seat. There's people sitting in the seats next to him, in front of him, behind him, next to him, sideways, everything else. He probably got up and used the bathroom. He probably touched the bathroom handle, probably touched the faucets, probably touched the toilet, you know, as he's walking through the plane. And we probably had 200, 250 people on board that plane with him. What about all them? Are they going to quarantine them? Or are those people already left the airport and have they driven to their respective houses within the United States? Where they might come down sick with it a few days from now, think they have a common cold. Now, I'm not really trying to scare you guys, but I'm just saying, what if? So the president's there, he's saying, okay, we got it under control. But it has an incubation period, and that man was on the plane with all those other people who probably already dispersed and went goodness knows where within the United States to their respective homes, if you're getting my point. So it's a little bit too early for him to be saying that, hey, we got this under control. We got this. Because when it comes to viruses, you cannot just sit there and say, hey, we got this. We got this. You know, you got to wait and see how it plays out first before you say you got it. You can say you got it when it's really gone. You know, and this is not over. This is growing. Okay, U.S. confirms first case of China coronavirus. Wuhan virus, what we know so far on its spread, preventative measures in China. China's working at it. You know, China is unlike other countries on Earth. They can take draconian measures to try to stop this thing in China. They can seal whole cities off. They can seal off whole groups of people, millions of people. They can seal them off and not let them out and so on. They can quarantine. They can do things that other countries would have a problem doing. Okay, this was it. This is what I listened to right here. China coronavirus outbreak. London experts reveal all they know. And I'm going to tell you what. They didn't reveal anything new that I hadn't heard before. And a lot of the questions they were asked, they had to say, well, we just don't know. We just don't know. We just don't know. I think they must have said that 3 or 4 times. We just don't know. But, I mean, they're doing their best with a new virus that's come out, you know. These are the names to watch as China coronavirus takes down travel stocks. So evidently, you know, pharmaceutical stocks are probably going to end up going up and the travel stocks are probably going to end up going down. The president urges China to share Wuhan virus information. I don't think they have a lot of more information than what we already have. You know? China seeks to contain the virus as the first case reported in Hong Kong. Oh, that sounds bad. Now, here's where it says Trump says he trusts China's eye on coronavirus, and he says the United States has it totally under control. Right there, totally under control. You know, I think that that's a rash statement myself, to say it's totally under control. Wuhan urges travelers to stay away and bid to contain the coronavirus. Coronavirus outbreak could shave $3 from oil prices, Goldman warns. How the airlines and airports are dealing with the deadly China virus. Yeah, and I'll tell you what they're doing. They're taking people that are on flights coming from China, and they are screening them for temperature, and they're putting them off to one side, and they're asking them questions and stuff like that. That's what's happening. In other words, they're screening the patients that are coming in from China. Not patients, but the people that are coming in from China. They're screening them now, which is a good thing, to try to protect America and the Americas, the American continent, I should say, from this virus, from this potentially deadly virus. Death toll from new coronavirus in China rises to 17. Each time they update it, each time I come on here, 8 or 9 hours later, the number is rising. So, what we have is we have a situation where we have a new virus that is right now out of control. It's not under control yet. It's out of control. And it's spreading. It's mostly in Southeast Asia. It's spreading in around China, Japan, North Korea, by the way, has said, hey, we're not letting anybody in. They're closing. They're closing off to everybody. They're closing their country off to everybody because they don't want this. I almost think now that what we need in the world, because we got such potentially deadly viruses out here, is we need some sort of a virus alert. When a virus breaks out like Ebola or something like that, in some country, we need to shut down air travel to that country. In other words, just have a law in effect where all air travel to that country can be just shut down until the virus is done, and bus travel in and out, and travel in and out of that particular country. I know it sounds draconian, but if some country like, I don't know, Papua New Guinea or whatever comes down with some sort of deadly virus, close off travel to that country, isolate them, only allow certain, have food continue to come into them, but have it so in a way so that the people that are delivering the food can be in hazmat suits, and here's your food, dump it on the dock and they can come get it, In other words, the rest of the world, we're not going to catch it, because we're going to protect ourselves from you. And this is the way we probably need to be. And I mean, it sounds draconian and everything, but the thing about it is it could potentially save billions. Quite serious. If we get some sort of say some mutated form of that's extremely catchy and airborne. Say we got some mutated form of Ebola that was killed 70% of the people that caught it, and it was airborne and it was more catchy than the flu. I mean, 70% of people on Earth could die from it. And wouldn't it be better just to close that country off that has it and not let anybody in or out? Just for a little while until it's gone, until the virus is gone? I mean, yeah, that's something that we should consider as a worldwide population for handling these type of things, rather than just let everybody fly here, there, and everywhere willy-nilly, practically willy-nilly. I mean, what's a temperature test? If you understand how the mechanism works for the flu, you understand that during the first 2 or 3 days is when they're most contagious and they have no symptoms yet. And they don't have the fever yet. That's how, not the flu, but I should say the common cold. That's how the common cold is. For the first day, you don't have a fever. You're most contagious. Well, if this is a coronavirus too, you can almost make the assumption that during the first initial period, there's probably a period there where they're contagious, where they don't have a fever yet. I mean, have they considered that possibility? Anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. We'll catch you guys in the very next show. Bye-bye.